In May 2024, I was lucky enough to visit the beautiful country of Hong Kong. So if you're interested in seeing my journey, then please keep watching. So we caught the red-eye flight out of Brisbane. The flight departed after midnight, so it was quite a late one. I was in seat 40A, so it's pretty much right over the wing. I wasn't too fussed about this because it was overnight, so I really couldn't see anything anyway. I loved that there was a little camera under the aircraft so you could watch the plane take off. It was a really nifty feature. Luckily, the plane took off on time, which I was really excited about because it was late enough already. And there was a really nice selection of movies and TV shows on board the aircraft, which was fantastic. The food served on board was actually really good. I had a pasta dish and there was chocolate ice cream too. Eventually, the sun did come up, but the view outside was sort of just really high clouds, so I couldn't really see too much. As per usual, I have managed to get a lot of plane footage, so sorry if that's not your thing, but I just seem to always record a lot of footage on the plane. Upon approach into Hong Kong, I was able to see the bridge that takes you over to Macau. I must say overall, I was very impressed with Cathay Pacific. Their service was really good and the aircraft was really clean and well maintained. The aircraft was a 777, which is probably my preference for an international flight. I do find them very comfortable. So by the time we cleared customs, it was around 9 a.m, so pretty early. Got to the hotel around 11 or so. We spent 6 nights in this hotel, so this is the Holiday Inn Express Mongkok. It served its purpose. It was clean and tidy and a fantastic location. So we spent the rest of the day just relaxing, did a little walk around the local area, and I stopped off to get a cheese mango drink, which is my all-time favourite drink in Hong Kong. The following day, we enjoyed the breakfast at the hotel, then caught the metro to Tsim Sha Tsui. I just love walking around this area. It's so classic Hong Kong and the views of the harbour are just stunning. This mall has the shiniest floor that I've ever seen. You could honestly eat off it. Then back to Mongkok, we discovered the Langham Place Mall, and this mall quickly became my favourite mall in Hong Kong. I didn't see it last time, so I'm really glad I discovered it. From the outside, this building didn't look that impressive. However, once you're inside, it just kept going up and up. The escalators were really steep and the floors were kind of concealed, so you didn't know there were so many. We eventually made it to the top and then got some takeaway and took it back to the hotel. And here's a shot of the building from the outside. So as you can tell, you just can't see that it opens up that much. The following day, we caught the Star Ferry over to the Hong Kong island. For me, the Star Ferry is such an essential part of a visit to Hong Kong. It is so classic. The ferry is my preferred way to get from the mainland to the island. It is just so picturesque. Upon arrival to the island, I noticed immediately that there was a lot of construction. It was really heavily under construction and there was a lot of noise. We walked through the IFC Mall, which is one of my favourites, and then we walked to where the turbojet leaves to go to Macau. We then took a series of outdoor escalators to head up to the botanical gardens. There were a few lemurs, which were really cute, and this particular day in Hong Kong was the most humid that we had. It was hot. We walked close to 20,000 steps that day, so it was a good effort in that heat. We then caught the Star Ferry back over to the mainland and went back to the hotel for the night. The following day was Disneyland, so please check out my separate vlog for that. The next day, we woke up to torrential rain. It was chucking it down. We stayed in the room until around midday. However, the weather wasn't improving, so we decided it was definitely an indoor day and we did the harbour cruise. Although the ferry looks just like a normal Star ferry from the outside, the inside has been totally refurbished. There were also not many other passengers on the harbour cruise. I did notice overall that tourism was a bit low in Hong Kong while I was there, but I did like having the boat mostly to myself. It was nice. I did try to stand outside at the front, but it was really wet and slippery, so I didn't last too long. But despite the weather, I was actually able to see a lot of the buildings, and it was really cool looking at half of them being submerged in the clouds. It was also really good boat spotting to look at all the other boats and ferries that are out on the harbour. I did see a lot of other Star ferries, and they're just so iconic. So if you're planning to visit Hong Kong, the harbour cruise definitely is a must. I couldn't believe my eyes the following day. There was sun. This was the only time we saw sun in the 2 weeks in Hong Kong. We caught the metro out to Kai Tak, which is where the old Hong Kong airport was. This map here shows the layout of what used to be the old runway. I thought we would be able to walk out along the runway because it looked like there were some gardens there. However, it was heavily under construction, so you couldn't actually get there. The section that they had finished was called Airside, and I could tell it's going to be a really ritzy area because all the buildings were really nice. From Kai Tak, we decided to catch the metro out as far as we could, which was to Wu Kai Sha. I was curious to go out this way because I'd never really left the Hong Kong CBD before, so I had no idea what was out beyond. On the map, I noticed a little beach called Starfish Bay, so I really wanted to go out there to see what a beach is like in Hong Kong, and I was not disappointed. The following day, we went out to Macau, so please have a look at my Macau vlog for that one. We arrived back in Hong Kong from Macau, and this time we were staying in Tsim Sha Tsui. This is the Intercontinental Grand Stanford, and we were here for 2 nights. We had a city-facing room. This hotel was also in a really good location, was really close to the harbour. The next day was our last full day in Hong Kong, and we decided that it was the perfect day to go up to Victoria Peak because the clouds seemed to be sitting a little bit higher today. From the hotel, we walked to the Star Ferry terminal to catch the Star Ferry over to Hong Kong Island. The water current was really strong this day, so the ferry driver I thought was quite skilled in his approach. To get to the Peak tram, we walked through this really fancy mall. The tram up to Victoria Peak seemed to be particularly busy today. I think people were taking advantage of the weather. The trams left quite frequently. I would say there was around one leaving every 5 minutes or so. I was really excited to catch the tram up to Victoria Peak because the last time I was in Hong Kong in 2019, the tram wasn't running, so I caught a bus up. The tram takes you up an incredibly steep hill, so it starts off still in Hong Kong City, but then the further up you go, you end up more in the bush. It's a very interesting and slightly disorientating experience because all of the buildings look sideways, but it's actually you that's sideways. Once I got up there, I was like, wait, what? What happened to the weather? It's changed. Even though I couldn't see much of Hong Kong, it was still really cool to be up in the clouds. We stayed at Victoria Peak for probably around 2 hours, checked out the view, or what was the view, the shops, and had lunch up there. Victoria Peak really is a must for Hong Kong. It's just stunning, honestly. On a good day, like the last time I went there, the views are stunning. Even the tram itself, with its clear roof, is absolutely fantastic. It was then time to say goodbye to the island and catch the Star Ferry back over to the mainland. Upon arrival back to the hotel, we then discovered that there was a typhoon warning and a Category 1 cyclone warning. The next day, we started the trek back to Hong Kong Airport. We ended up visiting 2 different lounges because we had our gate changed. I caught a glimpse of the Pokemon plane, which made me really excited. And then this was the view from the second lounge we were in, where we could see a whole bunch of different Cathay planes. When we were in line to board the aircraft, we did get to see a few planes take off, which was really awesome. They were definitely picking their timing with the takeoffs because of the weather. We boarded our Cathay 777 to take us straight back to Brisbane. I was in seat 69K this time, so just 3 rows from the very back. Thanks to all the rain that Hong Kong had, it was a very wet takeoff. If this takeoff were a painting, it would be a Picasso because we were slipping and sliding all over the place. We boarded the aircraft on time, but we did end up taking off about 45 minutes late just due to them waiting for a gap in the weather. I was so grateful that it wasn't another red-eye flight. The flight took off around 1:30, so perfectly acceptable time. I highly recommend using an AirFly for wireless Bluetooth headphones because it's a great way to connect your headphones to the plane. About halfway through the flight, I did get to see this spectacular sunset. It really was stunning. I really like Cathay's moving map as well. It's interactive, which I only discovered on the way back. You can actually zoom in and out and see where you are in relation to the flight path. This ended up being a turbulent flight overall, both out of Hong Kong and into Brisbane as well. For dinner, I had a fish and vegetable dish, which was actually very nice. And then I got to enjoy the views of stunning Brisbane just before midnight as we were coming into land. Thank you very much for watching this travel vlog. I hope it's inspired you to go see Hong Kong, and please keep an eye out for my next video.